Hey friends, welcome back to the RubberDuck Recruiter. So I got a comment from a subscriber named Jason, and his comment says, longtime medical healthcare sales rep. I thought transitioning into recruiting would be easy. It hasn't been. Any suggestions on where to start? Yes, Jason, I do have some suggestions on where to start. So you are trying to break into recruiting at a very difficult time to be breaking into recruiting. That's both a good and a bad thing. It's a bad thing because the barrier for entry is going to be a lot more challenging. It's a good thing because entering now, when the fish aren't jumping, so to speak, means that once they start jumping again, you're going to be in a much better position. So what do I mean by that? That sounds contradictory, but it's not. What I mean by that is if you're jumping into recruitment right now, the traditional ways of learning recruitment is going to be few and far between, or I guess I should say less available, specifically in tech and probably very soon finance. Hospitality, healthcare, the restaurant industry, things like that are a little bit more responsive and available for work right now, but we'll get into that later. So what I would say to you, Jason, is that your two biggest assets right now are your creativity and your effort. Those two things are going to be what makes or breaks your ability to break into recruitment. And what I mean by this is recruiting is such a vast industry. There's so many ways to skin the recruiting cat. And you came from a sales background, so maybe you're really good at lead generation. So that might mean that, you could start your own firm and see if you could bring in some business leads. That might mean that you could start a firm with a partner and use that sales skills to generate leads. That could also mean that you start to market yourself as a recruiter and doing a bit of career advice or career counseling. What I'm trying to get through to you here is that at this moment, your creativity and thinking outside the box and utilizing ChatGPT or social media or all of the new crazy things that are A, making this a difficult time, and B, going to make this a uniquely profitable time as people learn to use all these tools. It's going to be those people that end up excelling once we get back on track. So I would say that there is no specific great answer for this, because if there was, everybody would be doing the same thing. But as long as you have a bit of creativity and as long as you're willing to put in effort and go out there and try things and fail and get data points and continue to just get more data points in this situation where most people are throwing their hands up and saying, oh, well, I just can't do it, then you're going to put yourself in a much stronger position when things get better. And you might even find a niche that people are not aware of because they're too discouraged. So that's what I would say. Expecting to have a big payoff or make the big bucks right now during this time, I would say that is an expectation that is setting yourself up for failure. But expecting that this is a moment where you can set up a unique runway in preparation for things to get back on track, I don't think that that's far-fetched at all. I think that that's an incredibly productive use of your time right now. So creativity and effort, try things, experiment, connect with folks, network, reach out to companies that aren't hiring right now with the express intention of saying, I don't want your business. I want to get to know you so that if your business is ever available to me, that you know that I am here and we already have an established relationship. So that's what I would say to you. And I want to tack onto this, there's a lot of recruiters out there that have lost their jobs or got laid off. You're looking at one of them, and we're in a situation where, especially in tech recruiting, it's like, well, what do we do now? Where do we go? How do we, use the skills that we've had to get another job? And I would say there's two things that you can do as well. The first thing is that you need to be aware that, healthcare and finance and hospitality and I don't know, off the top of my head, I guess the restaurant industry or whatever, these industries are still hiring. They still need your help. So even though you're a tech recruiter, if you're a good recruiter, you can be pretty flexible in most industries. So I would say start learning and taking on the challenge of thinking about what industry you could be interested in, and then proactively looking for those jobs. And again, as recruiters, we kind of need to put our money where our mouth is and use our skills, because we teach people how to get jobs when things are going well, but the same rules apply to us. We have to have a solid resume. We have to have it updated for the job description. We have to reach out to referrals. We have to connect with folks that work at companies that we'd like and ask for a referral. We have to see if we can get ahead of all the people that are applying directly and hoping for a response. We have to tailor our resume knowing that an AI is likely going to be sifting through the resume to get it to the recruiter that views it, and that we need to be keyword rich. We need to have it be in a Word doc, or at least some kind of doc where it's easy for it to parse through the text, etc., etc. The other thing that I would say is that if you're a recruiter and you're not really sure what to do, it's the same thing. You have these skills. There's all kinds of things. There's Upwork. There's connecting with colleagues that got laid off to start a new agency. There's the career advice that There's an endless amount of ways to use the technology that is being born to leverage whatever the next step is going to be for you once things get back on track. And again, at the end of the day, the point is to be creative and to put out effort. If you put out effort, you're going to get data back. And if you're discouraged and you're not being creative or trying new things and trying the same thing over and over again, then you're not getting any new data. So I would suggest that you look for new ways to leverage these skills that you have embedded inside of you now. So I hope that was a helpful response. Thank you, Jason, for commenting. If you watch this to the end, please comment, please like, subscribe. There's a lot of folks, a lot of recruiters, and a lot of new recruiters that are in the same position as all of us, and we're all trying to figure this out. So it's a very helpful thing for us to have a comment thread of just either like, hey, this sucks, it sucks for me, to see people say that because it's relatable, or to say, hey, this is what I'm trying and it's working. So thanks for watching, and as always, may the recruiting odds be ever in your favor.